Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Whitney and I take a look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Tennille.
And I am Whitney. And this week we are taking a look at Die Konferenz der Tiere.
Or the Conference of Animals. I've also seen it Englishized as Animals United.
Saxonized? Anglo-Saxonized?
I don't know. A different English title for
whatever.
it would be United Animals, yes.
But anyways, the reason it has a different title is because this is originally a German film.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from the year 1969.
Nice.
Thank you, Michael Ray, for finding this movie for us.
Yet again, thank you, Michael Ray. Always a trooper.
Always finding all these old catch-up films for us.
Yes.
We appreciate it so much.
That being said, so this movie I found quite dull.
Yeah, it was lacking, to say the least. It was a movie that was more concerned about doing visual gags and small throwaway jokes than telling a cohesive full story.
Which would be fine if the animation was equipped to actually do those gags.
Yeah, the animation itself was fairly simplistic, and most of the jokes weren't terribly funny.
Yeah, there was like one or two that kind of got me a little bit. One of them in particular was like a dog. It's like a Dalmatian spotted dog. And then they like bump into a wall and all the spots fly off and then it turns into a bulldog because his face is squished. I'm like, okay, that was kind of a funny gag. But other than that, like, I can't really think of very much that I even really chuckled at in this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that with the premise that this film had, they'd be pretty pressed to use up 10 minutes of screen time. And instead, this ended up being an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
Which is quite long for an animated film of this time.
Oh, yeah. It's a very long movie for 1969. Usually they're closer to like an hour 10, hour 15. This is an extra 15 minutes on top of that.
Right.
So, how about a plot synopsis?
Sure.
Humans are failing to keep peace all over the world. They keep trying to do peace conferences. They fail because humans are stupid and dumb and they want to fight and all think they're more important than each other. This is just awful, obviously. Animals, specifically a lion, is sick of this shit.
Which, yeah, same.
So he's like, all right, we're going to hold our own conference. Our Conference of the Animals, title of the movie, and we will decide what is to be done about these stupid humans.
Right.
And then most of the movie is the animals contacting each other and getting to the conference.
Yes.
That takes us through the first half of the film.
Oh, at least. If not like
more.
an hour and 15 minutes of it.
Yeah. The animals wish to protect themselves and also the human children who are suffering from all these adults fighting.
Yes.
Well, the humans hear about this conference and they're like, oh no, the animals are uniting to fight us. So
We've got to start another war.
we got to start a war against the animals. So the humans unite finally in war, not peace. And then we get a joyful sequence of many stereotypes being drafted into an army.
Yeah. This isn't really even a tricky thing. It's just, this is unfortunate to see because obviously this film has good intentions. This is not done with any ill will. But also, the concept behind this movie is so shallow that I don't want to say it feels insulting, it just doesn't feel that well thought out. So of course there's all these stereotypes of different peoples being put into a machine that makes them all the same.
Yeah, it's
enemy
like
troops. And of course there's like...
commentary there.
Yeah.
But like, it's very obvious commentary. They're just all becoming cogs in a machine from being unique individuals. But the unique individuals were also not great stereotypes.
Exactly. It's just one of those things that's like, the movie's this long, it has like a pretty radical message to it.
Of, war is pretty bad,
Right. But it doesn't feel like it really believes in that idea. It feels like it's just something that they want to say to kids, like, And that's another part of the message of this movie, is that it's about, like, oh, well, if adults were just thinking of the children, then we wouldn't have war. And, you look at the movie and you're like, movie, you don't believe that.
No.
You don't actually believe that. That's a nice message and you mean well, but you don't really believe that.
Yeah. Anyways, this newly formed army goes to war against the animals. The animals win.
Right.
Pretty handily. And then all of the children in the middle of the night leave their towns and go to the animals.
Yes.
And the animals are like, all right, we're holding your children captive. And we won't let them out until you agree to our demands of letting peaceful people be in charge.
Of only having peace.
Yeah. We're going to have peace. No more war. Mm-hmm. And then the humans agree.
The children go back.
And the movie is over.
And the movie's over.
It's wrapped up in, 2 minutes.
Again, I can't really hold anything too harsh against this movie because it is well-intentioned, but it's also just kind of disingenuous,
And it's so boring.
And it's really boring. If it had funnier gags, I probably wouldn't care at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is based off of a book of the same name, which actually came out in 1949.
1949. That's pretty early for anti-war sentimentality.
A book made in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany. I mean, It is post-World War II.
Yes,
so,
but only just.
Mm-hmm. But 69 release for the movie makes a lot more sense because that is right in the hippie era.
Right.
So, war is bad, is popular sentimentality of the time.
Peace and love and, all that. This was directed by Kurt Linda, who was born April 1918. And their first directorial film work was done in TV in the early 60s, 1963 and 65. He worked on a short and some TV programs, but this is their first film that they are directing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can also kind of forgive the movie a little bit on that regard for feeling not so tight and cohesive story-wise. Because, if this is your first work on a film, you're probably gonna not know exactly when and where to cut. It explains some of the sloppiness of the animation itself.
Especially seeing as they used to work on TV and that, a lot of these jokes and stuff feel much more like a TV
styled, where, there is a gag, and the gag is just kind of separate from everything else going on.
Yeah.
There is a setup, but there's not follow through on anything else going on. And then Kurt Linda works in animation basically for the rest of their life, with a few other animated releases every decade until 98. So I'm guessing that we're going to be seeing at least a few more of his films.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Particularly, there seems to be more of a cult following around some of his films that were released in the 90s. So I'm kind of excited to see that when we eventually get to it.
Yeah, well, we'll get there eventually.
Eventually. His last film was in 98, and he died about 10 years later in April 2007. But I figured giving a brief biography on this director would be a good thing to do now, because it's probably going to be a while until we see something else of his.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there was nothing else to find on this film.
Fair enough.
My only lead was on the director, so.
I do know that there is a CGI Conference of Animals from Germany made eventually.
I think that's in 2010, and I'm not sure that it's actually based off of this book.
Watching the trailer doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, I think it's just another movie with the same title, but it's not the same subject material.
Yeah, it seems to be a meerkat in Africa trying to bring peace between
Other animals.
various African animals.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of the film.
Yeah. So, same name, but I don't think they're related.
Yeah. Or if it's probably loosely based on this concept, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is worth watching, but join us back here next time as we jump ahead 10 years
Okay.
to one of our final catch-up films. We're up to 1979, and we're going to be watching Black Star and Golden Bat from South Korea.
I just know from that title that it came from South Korea.
It's a Batman ripoff.
Oh, of course. All right. Well,
Let's do it.
see you then.